Good morning. Thank you for tuning in to the MonaLisa Monroe Morning Show. Grab your coffee or your tea, hunty, because we have a lot to talk about. But before we get started on those red hot topics, please go to my website, www.monalisamonroe.com. We've got t-shirts, we've got mugs, we've got toast. Believe me, we've got you covered. And also, you could purchase my book, Life After the Diagnosis. If you know a survivor or you are a survivor, this is the book that you need. Well, let's go ahead and get this party started right, shall we?
Woo! Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the MonaLisa Monroe Morning Show, honey. And like the commercial says, grab your coffee and your tea, hunty, because today we have a lot to talk about. But before we get all started and, feeling all good and all that good stuff, how about you go to my website? What's my website? No problem. www.monalisamonroe.com. There we go. Purchase the cups, the t-shirts, all that good stuff. Whatever you would like is on the website. Even my book, Life After the Diagnosis. All of that good stuff on the website, www.monalisamonroe.com. Now, to the good stuff. I want to hear from you. Yes, we are going to be talking about the red hots this morning. Exactly. What are the red hots, MonaLisa? Well, I'm going to tell you right now. I've been sitting on this and I've been sitting on this. And I was like, well, I don't want to come to everybody angry, mad, all of that good stuff. So now I've come down from the mountaintop and I'm ready to address some things. What are you trying to address, MonaLisa? Okay, no problem. I will tell you, hunty. Ooh, the first thing I want to talk about today is this Buffalo mass shooting. Okay, so I'm sitting here and I'm watching the news, and it's almost a week old, the news. But the more and more this thing unfolds, the more and more I'm sitting here like, really? Are you for real? And at first, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I was like, and he's still alive. Because I don't want to make this a race thing. You know what I'm saying? I do not. But it is. I don't care how you try to toss it up, figure it out. It's a race thing. This dude got in his vehicle and traveled 2 hours. 2 hours. 2 hours. Have y'all ever traveled somewhere for 2 hours? How about have you ever traveled somewhere for an hour? And you sitting there, good morning, Tam Tam. How you doing, girl? And you sitting there and you like going, what are you're thinking, right? 2 hours of this madness. What was he thinking in those 2 hours on the way to kill these black people? What does that look like? What does that look like? You driving for 2 hours. Your mind is set to kill black people. That's premeditated murder. All day, every day. I'm not even a lawyer. I watch enough Law and Order, SVU, and all of that to know what premeditated murder is. You think about it and then you do it. That's what's going on with this cat. So there's no crazy. You cannot claim that you're crazy. You can't claim none of that because you had 2 hours to think about whether or not this was a good idea. Should you or should you not? You had 2 hours. Tam Tam, what you say, honey? Good morning. Thank you. Hey, Queen. I appreciate it. Gun laws. Honey, the one in Georgia, you giving everybody a license. You letting everybody just run free, right? Uh it's like you thought for 2 hours, exactly, Tam Tam, you hate black people. And for 2 hours, you thought about shooting black people. Now, see, this is where I was talking to a person the other day, and they were like, it was random black people. No, he cased the joint. Before he killed everybody, he drove around, knew who shopped there, knew exactly who these people were. And if you look at the profiles of these people, he knew who he was killing. He knew. You had 2 hours. That's number one. Then you cased the joint out months before, so you knew who shopped there. You knew who people were. You are not crazy. You're evil is what you are. Tam Tam. He told people on the internet he was going to do it. Exactly, Tam Tam. So how are you crazy? No, you're evil. Bottom line. So you traveled 2 hours. You had time to change your mind, think about it, whatever. You knew who you were going to shoot because you cased the joint out. And then, after you do it, you surrender because you know you're not going to die. Okay? Bottom line. You surrender because you knew you were going to live. And you're basically leaving it up to the police and the courts to give you your fate, per se. Now, like I said, I didn't want to make this a race thing, but we're going to break it down because it's a race thing. If that would have been an African American that drove 2 hours, that cased the joint out, that killed 10 people, do you literally, and I want y'all to be honest with me, you better tell me the truth. Do you literally think that all they had to do was this right here? And the police would have slowly brought them in? No, because this right here doesn't stop us from getting killed. Hands up, don't shoot. You remember that? That's real. Hands up, don't shoot. We still gotta tell you not to shoot, even with our hands up, even surrendering. It doesn't matter. We're still getting killed. And I was talking to this person and I was like, we could have our hands up, still get shot. We could have our hands on the steering wheel, still get shot. We could be jogging, still get shot. We could be sleeping, still get shot. We could be barbecuing, still get shot. And you mean to tell me this person shot 10 people and this is all he got to do? And he lives. What y'all think about that? What y'all think about that? I really want to hear from you. I don't care where. You're talking to me on YouTube, you're talking to me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, wherever you plug it in at. I want to know because MonaLisa, this is not a black and white. Yes, this time it's a black and white thing. It is. It is. I'm so sorry. I don't even know what else to tell you. And I labeled this, it's just time to tell the truth. And the other day, I was told that they asked Kamala Harris, is America racist? And she said no. Okay. How do I say this? America is racist. It's some people, excuse me, in America that's not. But there's systems in America that is set in place for the failure of people of color. I don't know what else to tell you. It's set up. We have, oh, Tam, we have got to call a spade all the time. I mean, this is just, 2020, okay? Let's just be real. 2020 showed you a lot, okay? 2021 showed you a lot. I mean, life, we see it on the daily, but as far as America and the world goes, okay, you saw the treatment of Black people, whether you're from America or not. You saw the treatment. You saw a man get killed on video, okay? You saw how he was treated, regardless on whether he was an addict or marijuana criminal. I don't care. You saw how the treatment was of George Floyd, and you see the treatment of this particular person. George Floyd, $20 bill. This person, 10 people dead. Do you see the difference on how police handle us? Do you see the difference? Let me calm down. George Floyd, fake $20 bill, he's dead. This particular person kills 10 people, and you see the treatment of him? Now, you would have to be, I don't know, you would have to be blind to not understand and see. And a good friend of mine, Bonnie, she's a white girl. She helped me tremendously. You know what she told me? She said, MonaLisa, Black people cannot get white people to understand because we just can't. She said, white people have to care. That's the difference. She blessed my soul with that, because how many times have we said, you don't understand, you got to understand, you got to understand, you don't understand? How many times have we said that with no prevail? But when she said, we will never understand, we just have to care. That's all I needed to know. Tam, Kathy Brown Grant. Oh, girl, hold on. Just because we call racism out doesn't mean we don't get along with white people. Exactly. Deborah Brown White Bailey, Queen Mona. What's going on, Terry? How are you? Okay, so Terry, check this out. The mass shooting, sir. Okay, and I said to myself, now you have to honestly say that this is a race thing. I mean, you just really got to put it out there now, because how else can you explain this person? Excellent. Good. How can you explain, Terry? Talk to me now. This person gets in his car and drives 2 hours. He's driving 2 hours to shoot Black people in his mind. Okay. He's driving 2 hours. That's like driving from Austin to San Antonio almost, right? You got time to think about whether what you're doing is wrong or right. You got time. And you came up after 2 hours of driving that you're going to follow through with this mass shooting. And as I was stating to the person previously, you knew who you were going to shoot. You knew. So for you to say that you're insane is insane, okay? Because that's premeditated murder if I've ever heard a case in my life. 2 hours, you cased the joint out so you knew who you were going to shoot. Premeditated murder. What say you? What you say, Terry? Because, I mean, it's ugly. It's ugly. And there's no other way to say it. Racism is real. And like I said, I got a good friend, and she's a Caucasian, and she broke it down. She said, we can never understand, but we can care. Terry, you are telling the truth. He planned it, and we are fooling ourselves if he didn't consult others first. Thank you. Thank you. And there's there's no way else you can look at it. You know what you're doing. 2 hours in a vehicle, your mind is set. You case the let me back up. You cased the joint out. So you knew who you were going to shoot. And you followed through. And then on top of that, you live to tell a lie. Okay. George Floyd, $20, a fake $20 bill. And you saw how the police handled George Floyd because of a fake $20 bill. And then he kills 10 people. And you see how he was treated by the police. How do you explain that? Except the fact that the system, unfortunately, is not set up to be fair. Okay? It's not set up to be fair because he did not get shot. He did not get choked. He did not get tased. He didn't get any of that. And he lived to tell the story. And write this down on 5/19/22. MonaLisa is stating to you that he will have a movie. Either a movie or a TV show for sure. You don't believe me? The boy that shot those 9 people at that church had a whole documentary about it. Now, I should have said a little bit about the critical race theory versus this replacement theory, which is crazy, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Let me read here. Terry, you are telling the truth. He planned it and we are fooling. Okay, yeah, I read that part. Terry, and the consulting others first is the key. Whenever these things happen, folks put on the, oh, wow, there's still racism. When we all know that these things don't happen in a box, we will never hear from his comrades, but he was encouraged and supported. You better believe that. You better believe that. It was said that this replacement theory, okay, this replacement theory mess, it's online. And they're saying that they're the critical race theory, the replacement theory. You know, you really got to be careful about what is all being said at this point and what all is being done and who all is galvanizing to do the craziness, right? This man from Buffalo, I don't know if he was a pastor, a deacon, I don't know, but he broke it down. He said, now we are law-abiding citizens. We don't do anything to anybody. We just go to the grocery store to get something to eat and we get shot at. We you know, no matter what we do, we are set out to get abused, shot, killed, whatever. He said, how long do you think we're supposed to take this? And you know, that sat with me, honey. That sat with me. Because literally, think about this now. 2020, we basically shut the world down almost like COVID because we were like, we ain't having it. We're tired of it and we want some change. We were marching everywhere, everywhere because we were fed up, right? But look at it now, though. We're fed up again. Do you think we're going to take to the streets? You know, let's think about this thing now. It's people got guns now. You don't even have to have a permit in some places. How long do you think we are going to sit back and just let you kill us? You see what I'm saying? But see that right there, that whole verbiage there can be taken as, oh, MonaLisa's rising up and the black folks is getting ready to, because fear of the black person or fear of the people of color. This is dangerous. What you scared of? I mean, I don't understand. Why are you so afraid of people of color? What is that fear? The fear of being replaced, the fear of us taking over. You know what? I do not remember who said this, but it's making a lot of sense to me right now. The fear of people of color taking over and treating you the way you treated them. That's the fear. Let me say that again. The minister in MonaLisa is kicking in now. The fear of us taking over and treating you the way you treat us. That right there is the fear. What do y'all say about that? What say you about that? And just to think that this is the red hot topic number one of us discussing this Buffalo mass shooting, this Buffalo massacre is what I call it. Yeah. So that's red hot number one. Red hot on number two is abortion. Abortion. Terry, why say, yet there's no data to support that fear? Exactly. There's no data to sit there and support this madness because, believe it or not, hey, honey.
What's happening?
Believe it or not, black people just, I mean, I would say that, how do I put it? Even in the worst conditions, okay, black people still aren't going to do you the way you do them. I don't know. Am I wrong or right, people? What y'all think? Let me see here. Margot, hello. Fear of loss of social control. Margot, thank you for tuning in, and you are correct. The fear of loss of social control. It's a sad situation. Your fear, your major fear is losing control. That's red hot number one. What say you, Gary, on the Buffalo mass shooting?
Man, wow. Pretty much what everybody else saying. Oh, you let me on camera today.
So, I'm not even going to go there with you.
Everybody, see, actually, look. If you look at the camera, you see half of me.
You see whole you.
I get it that this is the MonaLisa morning show.
So what do you say about that? The Buffalo mass shooting. I said my piece on it.
So, I mean, everybody has, it's not what you have to say about it. Is what.
Bye, Terry. Thank you.
How does it make you feel? That's the question that when you talk about the big picture, since you cannot make a person think the way you think about a particular thing. So, but everybody has a feeling or an emotional reaction
Mm-hmm.
about a particular thing or everything.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're calm, cool, or collect, you have an emotion about a particular accident, incident, situation, or in this case, a massacre, right? So, it sometimes people say, well, why are you angry? It can anger you, it frustrates you. That
Mm-hmm.
here in 2022, that, and it somewhat has been the case um, in the Black community, that nowhere is safe for you.
Right. I was saying
I
that
mean,
earlier.
we've long experienced that and established that when you're bombed in a church, history has shown that, which has always been in the Black community. I mean, the most sacred place,
Right. Right.
a place of, an escape
Mm-hmm.
from all the plots and ploys of the devil, of all the wiles of our oppressors. That has been that place of escape,
Mm-hmm.
whether real or fabricated. So the reality of it is, and for many, we've always experienced that. Wow, where's a safe place? Not only where's a safe place, but and this is on another issue. In most cases, we have not viewed the law enforcement
Mm-hmm.
as one who is there to protect and serve me.
Right.
So when I see law enforcement just pull up,
Right.
you know,
It's
it's a thing
you
of
tighten
fear.
up
And I think I shared this with
some
you.
kind of way.
I think I shared this with you, and maybe this can help as it relates to this massacre and how people feel about racism and the fear of the men in blue is real amongst Black men. I mean, you have that conversation that from a kid you're taught your number one goal when you leave out this house is to return
That's you know what?
by any means necessary. And
We're the only ones that have that conversation.
so to that, I grew up with a sense of fear when I saw blue lights.
Uh-huh.
I grew up with a sense of fear with when I saw blue lights, even when I wasn't doing anything wrong.
Right.
You see,
Right.
and I'm driving down the road, the street, and all of a sudden, blue lights come up behind me. There's a sense of fear.
Do you remember?
Let me share this
Okay.
real quickly. And so, teenager, young adult, a grown man,
Mm-hmm.
a sense of fear. And you know, when I got over that fear, and I was sharing this with you, that it's when and subsequent to me giving my life to Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And it's when I gave my life to Christ, as well as knowledge and
Mm-hmm.
being enlightened, just reading and studying, and then being confident in who I am. And then it became a matter of, what do I have to be afraid of?
Right.
My life is secure in God and in Christ, and so on and so forth. So it wasn't until I was an adult that I overcame that fear. Now, as I relate that to, you say, this massacre, the only way we're going to get ever out of racism, there has to be a move upon your heart and a change in your heart. That's black, white, green, yellow, whomever. And so we can't change racism by trying to make people think
Mm-hmm.
on what you think,
Right.
but to give reason to what you're feeling.
Martin Luther King said that. He
So
wanted to change people's hearts because their minds is basically connected. I mean, that's
Mhm.
biblical too. Out of the heart, the mouth speaks. So
when you see injustice, how does that make you feel? We saw someone the other day, and I know you said you wanted me back on the show. There was some injustices taking place in Garden City as it related directly to me.
mm-hmm.
And someone who was in the meeting actually stopped me. And basically, what they stated was that wasn't right based on how it made them feel.
They have to feel. That's right.
You see, and this wasn't a black person. This was a white individual, and they said, "Wow, it made me feel this way to see this happen."
You remember I told you Bonnie set me free on that. Bonnie's a white girl. She's my ace, and Bonnie said, "You cannot tell us to understand because we never will understand." She said, "But we can care," and that set me free. I ain't lying to you. Hey, Mac, how you doing? Terry, I will come back and listen to the recording. Okay, cool. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. But that's the key. We can't get people that are non-color, okay? Non-color. You white, you what, whatever. If you're not of color, we can't get you to understand our walk. We can't get you to understand the fear and the terror in some places, what we feel and go through, because you don't know nothing about it. But you have to care about how we feel. Right. Okay, so that's red hot number one. Red hot number two is abortion. When is the baby considered in the pregnancy to be a person? Now,
a human being.
Of being a human being. Okay, so I'm a person of faith. My husband's a man of God. So we're going to feel some type of way about abortion, bottom line, right? But I also say this. You can do what you want to do. That's your business. I personally think soon as the sperm hits the egg and connects, conception. There is a person being born. There is a being born. Because God got some dirt and formed Adam. It's as simple as that. A person is being formed with the conception of the man and the woman. Boom. A person, a spirit, a being. That's what I think.
Oh wow, she threw the ball in my court. I heard an interesting years ago, an interesting argument, and we're not talking about argument as in fussing and fighting. We're talking about an argument on a platform of political discussion and reasoning. And it was the argument about abortion, but it included the man. And the argument was positioned as this, that if you're going to say allow abortion, then the consent should be between both.
I agree. The people,
father and mother,
right?
Of that particular.
That's
seed,
good.
Right?
That's good because the men are very rarely considered in this decision.
And let me explain.
That's
the
true.
Person's argument and position. And he stated that, and he was presenting an argument as such. He stated that in his case, that he wanted the child.
Right.
He stated that the young lady was pregnant.
Right.
He wanted the child.
But she didn't.
She didn't want the child. Okay.
And it shouldn't be left just up to her.
He stated that, then you can terminate your parental rights at birth or so on and so forth. And so the opposition was, well, it's her body. She has to carry the baby.
That's true.
He said, understood. He says, but I'm saying I wanted the child. She's saying she doesn't want it. And because of the law right now, the law is going to honor her wishes to have an abortion at will. So he said in his argument, but what if I don't want the child and she wants to have the baby? if she has the baby and I said I didn't want it, then you're going to make me responsible for that baby, even when I said I didn't want it.
By paying child support.
By paying child support.
Ooh,
so he positioned
that's
his
a good one.
argument. He positioned his argument as such, in that they had to give deep consideration into that argument and that position. That
Who won?
maybe we both need to look at this in this particular case. But this was one that he said he had was using this in his argument on the topic as it related to a personal experience of his. That he lost, he didn't have a child at that time due to the fact that the woman did not want the child, and he wanted it.
You know, he could probably take that to the Supreme Court, because that's a legitimate argument or debate, because the woman has the full-blown responsibility, accountability, or whatever to carry a baby if she wants it, right? And the man is not considered in that thought process because the woman is carrying the baby. But on the other end of that, if she doesn't, if she does and he doesn't, and she carries the baby and why is he held accountable for a decision that he made? I don't want any children. Right. That's good. He needs to take that to the Supreme Court. But that's another point, to be honest with you. That's something that we might have to deal with later. But for now, abortion, when is it considered or a good idea or something that a woman can do in the pregnancy? When is the best time if she were to have an abortion? And my thing is, I don't think she should have one, period. But I also think that she has that right to choose. But I heard this morning that the mayor of New York said up until the baby's born, she could have an abortion. But you know, that's crazy. And that gives you another idea of men not knowing anything about the process, most of all. But the first trimester, second trimester, third trimester is the baby's forming differently in each trimester. So no, it'll be straight up murder to kill a baby in the second and third trimester. You're killing something that's moving around and thinking and all that. But in the earlier stages, when it's just an embryo, is what they're saying. It's not even a person. It doesn't even have a this and it doesn't even have a that. And I'm like, for me, as soon as that sperm hits.
Well, I've known people and in close proximity with, when you speak of females having an abortion, and it's traumatic.
Yeah, it is.
It's traumatic, and some women,
I can imagine,
even though they make a decision at that time to say terminate the pregnancy for whatever reason, career or what have you, and this may not. I'm not trying to paint with a broad brush here. That some people are willing to say, "Hey, have that abortion, be done with it, and never reflect back on it again." But we were having that discussion last night about you can say that you don't have any thought about a trauma in your life,
yeah,
but it manifests itself.
It does
in some way, shape, or form.
That's right.
But having known that, and even being a pastor, and having talked with females, couples, and there's a female who perhaps have had an abortion or terminated a pregnancy for whatever reason in early part of their life, that are experiencing trauma still 10, 15, 20 years later. Some guilt, some remorse,
traumatic.
Some the pain of a lifetime of wondering what that child would have been. And so, we'll never know what each individual experiences or feel about an abortion or terminating pregnancy. But from my experience of engaging in conversations with female, it's somewhat traumatic.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot. It's very traumatic.
So if you are going to do it, I would suggest you do some counseling before and after. I would suggest that you continue to have some sort or some kind of counseling, because a miscarriage, an abortion, and having a baby, it's all difficult. Mentally, emotionally, physically, it's all a task on your body.
Can we amalgamate both of these two topics, racism and abortion? And here's the connection. Both of these extremely topics are political topics that determines how people vote. And it's interesting how
that's a shame.
As it relates, not to say a shame, it's interesting how people will base their vote on these two essentially godly principles, but see abortion as ungodly, but not correlate racism as ungodly.
Well, that's a whole.
You see what I mean? Okay, so they say, well, how can you vote for this person when they are for abortion? But yet, at the same time,
how can you vote for this person?
Can you vote for this person here
when they're a racist?
When this person is a racist, misogynist, and all the other issues and things out there, abuse of women and things of that nature. All of these things that can fall under quote unquote godly condemnation. So it's amazing and what does the word of God says? If you're gonna live by the law, you die by the law. And to break one law is to break the entire commandment.
Yeah.
So if you view abortion as ungodly, then you have to view all ungodliness as ungodliness. So just putting those two things together and to consider when we're making decisions,
right?
If it's based on your religious factor.
Okay. Well, red hot topic number 3 and our final hot topic for today, this morning, is the Women's Soccer League was finally approved for equal pay. What about the WNBA? Now, my thoughts is, congratulations, sis. Wonderful. I believe in equal pay across the board. You guys work hard, just like the men work hard, all the above. Now, with my remembrance, I think I remember women pushing and refusing to play if they don't get paid equally. But I didn't recall this same protesting force in the WNBA. Now, I was told last night that they did. I didn't know that.
And I see one of your questions, why haven't we freed Brittany Griner yet? and before getting ahead, I'll just answer that. Because she's not a soccer player. That's putting it modestly. Mm-hmm. So in either case, when you look at the fact that what Brittany Griner being detained now, right or wrong, it sheds light on why she was there in the very first place. Mm-hmm. And that was as a professional basketball player, WNBA female professional basketball player, to be able to sustain an income, she has to go overseas. Not just her. I don't know what the number is. Probably 60% of the WNBA females, or let's just say half. Until we get real numbers. But a number of the females in the WNBA, in order to sustain their income in the off season, they have to go overseas and play.
But my thing was, have they went hard to the paint, like saying, we're not going to play unless you guys pay us equal or at least somewhere close to the WNBA. I mean, I'm sorry, the NBA players.
Going hard to the paint, you got to have leverage. If you're going to go hard to the paint, you got to have some leverage.
But don't they have leverage?
What I mean is the WNBA at a place that if these ladies were, and I think it's cause specific, because when in 2020, when the George Floyd murder and the WNBA stood out with regard to the Atlanta's owner at the time. What was her name? And she ran for a seat. I don't remember, but I know what you're talking about. In Georgia, because of that platform and premise, those ladies said, we're not going to play.
Exactly.
But it was because of the backdrop of what was happening. George Floyd, racism, Black Lives Matter.
This is a perfect backdrop.
But that was a backdrop that was polarized in the country at the time and affecting all of America. Salary, what they get paid, is not a polarized subject until now that you have Brittany Griner now detained in Russia, which brought light to the fact that while she was over there in the first place, and that is to make a living wage playing basketball.
What I'm saying is right now, it would behoove thee to say, now that the soccer, women's soccer have gotten paid, they need to come right behind them and say, y'all need to pay us too. And this would be perfect timing.
I was again, how much leverage power do they have, in the sense that if they were to say, we're not going to play except for equal pay, will the owners of the WNBA say, okay, we're going to sit down and have conversation, or will they just let the league just crumble?
That African-American woman coach, what's her name? The one that's the top paid coach. Why is she now the top
Dawn
paid?
Staley?
Why is she now the top paid coach? She demanded a equal platform.
Well, you're talking about, but she's in a different system. She's in the collegiate system.
But my point is that
I get what you're saying.
Now that the women's soccer team has gotten this equal pay, you don't think they're going to come together with the women's basketball league and say,
and that's it.
Let's go?
They can do that.
I'm telling you, this is the perfect time.
Let me ask you this. Can the sports world do, and this is addressing that leverage, can the sports world do without the WNBA?
No. You got little girls now looking at Gigi, Kobe Bryant's little girl, aspiring to be like her, and all of it. No, you can't play that.
No. I'm saying that looking at
they cannot do without it. That's
WNBA.
my answer. They cannot do without the WNBA, because right now it's female power, it's women power.
From a financial earning perspective, you look at the television stations. How much money would they lose if the WNBA folds?
See, they got to understand right now, women are
in
demand. So if they try to pull women, WNBA right now from the league, it's gonna be on and popping.
Right now, it would be foolish on their part to do this now.
Yeah,
because it would be an obvious retraction to what they're trying to do. But at the same token,
ride that coattail.
I'm asking the question, but it's not only just ride the coattail. This is where, say the professional sports, women's sports, they have to come together across the board.
And see, and that's the thing. That's what y'all don't understand out there, men. When a bunch of women,
we don't understand.
When a bunch of women get together, that's how Biden got in there. Women galvanized and voted him in. Bottom line, point blank, we put him in there. So if we come together,
women,
soccer, basketball, it's a woman that plays football now. If we come together and demand,
do you want to see women playing football?
No, but I'm just saying, if the fair pay, if that's what you want, and you're telling us that we're not going to get it, and if we come together, I'm telling you, you don't want to do that. Matter of fact, women drive the NFL. Women rule the world in a lot of cases. But anyway, we're gonna leave that alone. So your final thoughts.
Your final NFL?
Yeah.
How so?
Yeah, because women sell. The cheerleaders, Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, make more money in a lot of cases than any of those.
No.
Okay, so anyway,
don't get beside yourself.
Okay. So anyway, final thoughts on all three red hot topics. Okay, so final thoughts on the.
I'm trying to drink more water.
I see that.
Yeah, so that's why I'm,
rattling. Okay, yeah, exactly. So final thoughts on the mass shooting.
I got about 15 to 20 pounds I'm trying to get rid of. Anybody want it?
Nope. Okay, so final thoughts on the mass shooting. Yes, it was racist. Final thoughts on the abortion. We don't agree with abortion, but we leave it up to you. Women's soccer. I say the WNBA need to trail right in behind them, and they come together and get equal pay for the WNBA. Ding!
These are your final thoughts.
We got 5 minutes. You got some final thoughts?
I think all of these were good topics, and it's not just to offer a platform of debate, but just discussion and conversation where people can reasonably come to a platform and have discussion, not to condemn or criticize any particular person, but to shed light on the various issues. I did hear you speak on critical race theory, and but the truth of the matter is not critical race theory. It's critical American truth. Critical American history. You got to first call it what it is. Mm-hmm. When we are talking about speaking of American history, it's not a race theory, it's American history.
I agree.
And so the question is, what part of American history do we want to teach or not teach? And even more so, why?
Right.
Why do we teach? Why do we teach this? And if you're going to teach this, if you don't teach this, and you continue to teach this, it's you're propagating a lie.
Mm-hmm.
And you're propagating a lie. So I think that's how we have to approach that.
Right.
When we talk about race is a hot topic. It's a fearful word to address, to converse, to talk about. I'm certain all of us have non-black friends, white friends.
Hello, Pierre.
In a private setting, how comfortable even your white friends, how comfortable are they with just having a conversation about race?
That's my whole thing. If you and we're going to go ahead and close, but I want to say this. If you have white friends, okay, and you can't talk about these things without feeling some type of way, you might want to reconsider them being true friends, because I feel like if you are a true friend, whatever color you are, you should be able to address the issues of race. And like I was saying, my girl, Bonnie, we can talk about any and everything. And we feel comfortable enough to say if we disagree. And it's okay to disagree about some things. But the whole point of it is you get to voice your opinion. I get to voice mine. And that's what the MonaLisa Monroe show is all about. We talk about what you're talking about. Thank you so much for tuning in to the MonaLisa Monroe
and talk about it.
Show. And talk about it.
And
yes.
in your closing, I say this, that racism or the massacres that happen, consequence of racism, is not going to be cured, eradicated by it being discussed in the Black churches only or in the Black communities. If it's not a discussion of conversation in also the white churches or in the white communities or at the table of white Americans, then racism and the result of race, the outcomes of racism in the massacres, they're going to continue to happen in America. That then affects all of us. So,
right.
So this is not just a conversation in the Black church, in the Black community, at the Black dinner table. Mm-hmm. This has to be a conversation at every different racial and cultural makeup in this country. And it's not about you thinking about it. It's what do you feel about it? How does it make you feel to see these tragedies and inhumane acts in the 21st century happening now?
And I would add on that, which is a great point, baby. I'm going to add on that and say, and we have to be mature enough to allow them to be honest. You know, a lot of times they're not going to tell you the truth because they're scared that we're going to, or whatever. If we're going to talk about it, we got to make sure we're mature enough to handle the result of the conversation. I'm telling you, they're afraid. Period, point blank, they are afraid. So take that in consideration and allow space enough for them to be honest. And if you have to preface that with, you know what, whatever you say, I'm not going to get upset. I'm not going to get offended. I just want you to be honest. You will be surprised on the truth that's going to unfold in that conversation. And that goes with any color. We got to be mature in a lot of places where it might not be comfortable, but your capacity of maturity is going to depend on whether or not America is healed in this area. Because immaturity is, can't nobody tell you nothing. You don't want to listen. You don't want to. You have to be able to listen to the other person. I didn't say agree. I said listen. All right. I know it. Hey, it might be tight, but it's right. Thank you for tuning in to the MonaLisa Monroe Morning Show. Check us out tonight, 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern. We love you. Thank you. Bye-bye.